This is getting really fun. So now you're going to hear from our student speakers of our 3 degree programs. And this is the second year. We have one from each program. And I'd like to introduce our first student speaker representing the MBA program, Zach Ahrens.
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks, Reba. Thank you very much. Grad school is an obstacle course of life and career decisions, and it is not easy. And that's why I'd like to take a moment and recognize our international students who cross the globe in pursuit of skills to better the world, and I think reminds us of the importance of diversity. So when I call your name, I'm going to ask a few people to stand and show everyone how awesome you are. Karim Arsanios, Lebanon and Venezuela. Divya Srinivasan, India. And Asya Kakar, Afghanistan. And I'll see if I'll pronounce this. Seçil Koprulu, Turkey. Nice work, nice work. Nice. So, a dairy farmer from New York once told me that there are optimists in this world and there are pragmatists. And somehow we have to find a way to meet in the middle. And that's where reality is. And I remembered that, and I think it has a lot to do with why I chose to get an education at PGS. And I think it has, and I wanted to know how to get from an aspirational state to a real state. And yes, that means how to make the world a better place, but to do it at scale. How do we all get from A to B? And I think that's why many of us chose to come here. Miraculously for me, I think I was able to achieve that. But when I finished up in December, I wasn't feeling that way. I looked around at the world, and I thought that our habits of capitalism were too entrenched, and that our culture could not possibly consider an alternative approach to business or construct a more inclusive policies that would work towards more social equality and less environmental harm. And Paris last week was an example of that. But what I realized was, despite how the news might make us feel, is that most people are seeking the same thing. Personal safety for them and their families, economic security, and a sense of belonging. And this is not a new thing. Yet, despite these common aims, it is difficult to agree on a path to get there. And to do that without encroaching on someone's purpose or their financial well-being, well, that takes time, talent, and a lot of stakeholder buy-in. So I've been trying to replace my frustration with a sense of patience. And whenever I waver, I remember that I have this amazing community to lean on, who now have the necessary skills and, yes, the audacity to help us move from A to B, though I do think that for some of us, the audacity was always there. And if we waver in our pursuits, we can always come back here to Presidio and witness our peers pitch solutions that tackle racial injustice or try to turn styrofoam into an all-natural sealant. That's good. And this is encouraging. We call this addressing large market failures. These are problems that no one else wants to take on. They are simultaneously no one's problem and everyone's problem. And the point is, these challenges are hard to solve because they cannot be solved through market action alone. We have to think and act more cohesively. And that is an exhausting concept to approach without the right support. But we learn to do that here, to make uncommon connections across public and private stakeholder groups. We learn the difference between a B Corp certification and the real meaning of fiduciary duty in the presence of bylaws that protect social and environmental values across a supply chain. You have to go to school here to know what that means. And I just wanted to remind you guys of that, in case you were like me when I finished in December. I wanted to remind you of that because you chose to come to this graduate school for a reason, to learn skills that will help bring more personal safety for people, economic security, and belonging. So whatever your version of A to B is, or what that entails, you now have a bunch of friends to help you along the way. And I wanted to thank you all for being my community to lean on, my colleagues of change, and I hope to see you audaciously out there as we lay a path forward. Onwards. Thank you very much.